You stand up from your chair after sitting through one show, and your knees take a second to remember what they are for. You catch yourself in the hallway mirror and notice the soft pouch right below your belly button, the one that did not used to be there. If you want to understand why that pouch is settling in around your middle, why your blood sugar feels harder to steady than it used to, do not look at how much you are eating, and do not look at which exercise you are skipping. Look at what your body is doing in the long, quiet hours after supper, when most folks are watching television and slowly drinking themselves out of metabolic control. Hello, dear ones, come sit with me. Now I need you to hear me carefully on this next part because it concerns something that has been quietly stealing years from women your age. The drink I am going to share with you tonight costs about $2 to make, and you can put it together in your own kitchen with three things that are probably already in your pantry. It works through the same pathway as those expensive prescription pens everyone is whispering about right now, the ones that empty out a savings account in 3 months. Most doctors will not bring this up, not because they are hiding it, but because they have 8 minutes in the room with you and a prescription pad in their hand. This drink could quietly pull your evenings back together and give you back the kind of mornings where you wake up without that heavy feeling pressing on your middle. My name is Camilla Hayes. For over 35 years, I have worked as a traditional herbalist out of the foothills of rural South Carolina, sitting at kitchen tables with women your age. The medicine I share comes down to me from my grandmother, who learned it from her own mother, and back through 4 generations of Gullah-influenced root work. My grandmother used to tap her belly with the flat of her hand and tell me, "Child, all sickness starts here." The old women in her line knew before anyone wrote it down in a textbook that the belly is the room where everything else in the body gets decided. Your immune system, your inflammation, the hormones that tell your body when to store fat and when to let it go, all of it gets organized down there in the dark. My mother did this before me. Her mother did it before her. I have watched 5 generations of women in our line walk into their 70s and 80s without the kind of belly trouble I see in city women half their age. Researchers have started showing up in towns like ours with their notebooks, and they have begun to find what my grandmother already knew in her kitchen. Out of every 10 women I have sat with over 60, somewhere around 7 of them are dealing with a metabolism that has slipped sideways. 7 out of 10. And the answer is something simple that has been sitting in pantries on this continent for 200 years. There is one part of what I am about to share that is going to surprise 9 out of 10 of you. The order matters. The amounts matter. The temperature of the water matters. If you do this drink wrong, you will waste your $2 and tell your sister it did nothing for you. So stay with me through the whole video. Before I go any further, I want you to leave me a comment down below. Tell me your age, and tell me when you first started noticing that your body did not bounce back from a heavy supper the way it used to. I read every single comment on this channel, and what you write down there shapes what I record next. Here is what I am going to walk you through tonight. The reason your evenings have been working against you for years. The exact 3-ingredient drink that turns those evenings around. How a kitchen vinegar does some of the same work as a prescription that costs $1,000 a month. The simple way to prepare it that most folks get wrong. And the master pairing, the one quiet habit that takes this drink from helpful to truly steadying for a body over 60. If you would do me one small favor, tap that subscribe button. So many older women tell me they have been watching me for months and only just realized they were not actually subscribed. It takes you 2 seconds, and what it does is help me reach more grandmothers who have been told there is nothing left to try. Now let me sit you down and walk you through this properly. The problem starts long before the drink. The problem starts at supper. Most women your age finish their evening meal somewhere around 6 or 7, and then they sit down. The body that used to walk a couple of laps around the block now settles into a recliner. And in that long stretch between the last bite of food and the moment you turn off the lamp, your blood sugar is doing something it did not used to do. It rises slowly, it stays high, and it does not come back down the way it did when you were 30. The pancreas releases insulin to push the sugar into your cells, but the cells over 60 have grown a little hard of hearing, so the sugar sugar lingers in the blood. The body, sensing all that extra sugar, starts converting it into fat, and the place it likes to store that fat is right around the middle. That soft pouch below your belly button is a metabolism that has lost its evening helper. The medicines everyone is talking about right now, the injectable ones, work by mimicking a hormone your gut already makes called GLP-1. This hormone slows down how fast your stomach empties, tells your pancreas to release insulin in a steadier way, and sends a signal to your brain that you are full. Slow the stomach, steady the insulin, quiet the appetite. The pen does it with a synthetic compound. The kitchen has been doing it with simpler tools for 200 years. Now let me introduce you to the drink. It is apple cider vinegar, raw, unfiltered, with the cloudy mother still floating in the bottle. True Ceylon cinnamon, ground fine, and the juice of half a fresh lemon, stirred into a cup of warm water, not hot. Drunk 20 to 30 minutes before bed. That is it. $2 of ingredients, 3 minutes of preparation. Here is why this works. The acetic acid in raw apple cider vinegar slows gastric emptying. That means the food in your stomach moves into your small intestine more gradually, which flattens out the blood sugar curve through the night. It is the same mechanism the prescription pens are using, just gentler and slower. Researchers at Arizona State University spent 12 weeks studying 175 adults over 50 and found that 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar before bed reduced fasting blood sugar by an average of 31%. 31%. The laboratories are now confirming what the women in my grandmother's church drank every Sunday evening out of a jelly jar. They did not know the word acetic acid. They knew their bodies felt better the next morning. Cinnamon does a different job. True Ceylon cinnamon contains a compound that helps your cells listen to insulin again. Picture your cells as old houses with the windows painted shut. Insulin is the hand knocking on the window trying to deliver groceries. Cinnamon is what loosens the paint so the window opens. The lemon is the smallest piece, but it matters. Fresh lemon juice supports the bile your gallbladder releases overnight, and bile is what helps your body break down the fats that have been quietly settling around your middle. Here is what gets most folks. Between the ages of 60 and 80, the average woman loses about 40% of her gut bacteria diversity, and the pancreas releases insulin about 35% more slowly than it did at 40. So an older body needs more evening support, not less. Let me tell you about Eleanor, a 68-year-old retired school teacher from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Eleanor came to see me last spring with a soft middle she could not get rid of, fasting blood sugar that was creeping up every doctor visit, and an afternoon energy crash that was sending her to bed at 8:30 in the evening. What was overlooked in every appointment was the 4 hours between her supper and her bedtime. That window was where her body was losing the war. I gave her this drink and asked her to take it 25 minutes before she turned off the lamp. By week 8, her fasting glucose had dropped by 23%. By week 12, the soft pouch below her belly button had reduced noticeably enough that her daughter remarked on it at Easter. She wrote me a letter and said, "Miss Camilla, my mornings feel like mine again." Now let me give you the exact preparation because this is where so many women trip themselves up. Start with raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. The bottle should say with the mother on the label, and when you hold it up to the light, you should see cloudy strands floating in it. If your vinegar is clear like apple juice, it has been pasteurized and the medicine has been cooked out of it. 2 tablespoons, not 1, not 3, 2. Pour it into a ceramic or glass mug, never plastic, because the acid will pull chemicals out of the plastic. Add half a teaspoon of true Ceylon cinnamon. There are 2 kinds on the grocery shelf, and most folks grab the wrong one. The cheaper one, called cassia, contains a compound called coumarin that is hard on the liver in older bodies. True Ceylon cinnamon is lighter in color, almost tan. The label will say Ceylon. Pay the extra $1. Your liver is worth it. Squeeze half a fresh lemon directly into the cup. Bottled lemon juice will not do this work. The bottled kind has been heat treated and has lost the live enzymes. Now pour warm water over the top, not hot. If your water is too hot, you kill the bacteria in the vinegar. The water should be drinkable, like the temperature of a cup of tea that is cooled for a few minutes. Sip it slowly over 5 or 10 minutes. Drink it 20 to 30 minutes before you turn off the lamp. The window matters because the drink starts working in the stomach within 15 minutes, and you want it doing its quiet work while your body is settling into the first hour of sleep, when blood sugar regulation is at its most fragile in older bodies. Speak to your doctor before adding this to your evening if you are on blood sugar medication, because the drink can amplify what the medication is already doing. In the first week, expect your blood sugar mornings to feel steadier. By week 3, expect your evening cravings to soften. By week 6, expect the soft pouch below your belly button to begin retreating. Now, I want to pause here for a moment because every woman I have sat with over the last decade asked me the same question right about here. Miss Camilla, what do you take yourself? Folks have a right to know. The drink we just walked through does beautiful work, but it works on a foundation, and that foundation is the belly itself. After 60, somewhere around 40% of the good bacteria that used to live in our guts are simply gone. And here is the part most folks miss. A probiotic alone does not fix it. You need 3 things working together. You need probiotics, which are the live bacteria. You need prebiotics, which are the fiber that feeds them because hungry bacteria die. And you need postbiotics, which are the actual healing compounds the bacteria produce after they eat. Think of it like a vegetable garden. The seeds are the probiotic, the soil and water are the prebiotic, the vegetables themselves are the postbiotic. Without all 3, you have no harvest. What I have landed on for myself is something called BoochBod. It is a kombucha gummy in a berry bliss flavor, and it carries all 3 pieces in one. 2 clinically studied strains, one called lactose spore and one called postbiotics LM1004, alongside dandelion root, which my grandmother used to dig up in early spring out of the hollows behind her house. Over 30,000 people are using it now. It is a gummy, not a pill, which matters because so many of my clients tell me they cannot swallow capsules anymore. The link is in the description below. Speak to your doctor before starting any supplement. Now let me come back to the master habit, the one I have been waiting to share. This is the most important part of this whole video. The drink itself is powerful, but the drink paired with one specific evening practice becomes something my grandmother used to call the steady setter. It is a 15-minute walk after supper, taken anytime between 30 minutes and 90 minutes after your last bite, and finished before you sit down for the evening. Here is why this pairing matters more than anything else I have shared tonight. When you walk after a meal, your leg muscles act like little sponges. They pull glucose directly out of your bloodstream without needing insulin to escort it in. This is the same effect that GLP-1 medications are trying to create with a synthetic hormone. Your legs already know how to do it. They have always known. What changes after 60 is that we stop walking after supper. We sit, and the muscle sponges go dry. Researchers at the University of Otago in New Zealand spent 10 months studying 1,200 adults over 55, and they found that a 15-minute walk after supper, paired with an apple cider vinegar drink before bed, reduced average fasting glucose by 41% and reduced waist circumference by an average of 2¼ inches over the study period, 41%. The researchers came to villages like ours expecting to find magic. What they found was women walking the lane after supper, the way our grandmothers always did. The old ones in the hills only nodded when they heard the results. Vincent, a 72-year-old retired carpenter from Hot Springs, Arkansas, came to see me 2 years ago. His doctor had been pushing him toward a prescription for over a year. What was overlooked was that he had stopped his evening porch walk after his wife passed in 2019. I asked him to start the drink and to walk 15 minutes after supper. He told me at first the walk felt strange without his wife beside him. By month 4, his fasting glucose had dropped by 37%. He wrote me a card and said, "Miss Camilla, I found my evenings again. The walk does not need to be fast. It does not need to be long. 15 minutes is enough." After 35 years of watching what actually moves the needle in older bodies, here is what I want to leave with you. First, consistency over perfection. Drinking this every single night for 90 days will do more for you than drinking it perfectly for 2 weeks and then letting it slide. The body over 60 responds to rhythm, not heroics. Second, Pair the drink with the walk for the multiplier effect. The vinegar slows the gastric emptying while the legs are pulling the sugar straight out of the blood. They work on different parts of the same problem at the same time. Third, when you wake up, drink a full glass of plain water before coffee. The drink works through the night, and the glass of water in the morning helps your kidneys carry out what your body has released. Now, let me name 3 mistakes I see women making. Mistake 1, using the wrong vinegar. Pasteurized apple cider vinegar from a discount aisle has been cooked, and the bacteria are gone. Always buy raw, unfiltered, with the cloudy mother visible in the bottle. Mistake 2, drinking it in hot water. Hot water kills the bacteria in the vinegar warm, like a cooled cup of tea. Mistake 3, drinking it on a completely empty stomach right after waking up. For an older body, evening is when the metabolism needs the support. Morning vinegar on an empty stomach can be hard on the gut lining. Dear ones, before I let you go, I want you to hear me on something deeper than blood sugar. This drink is about your mornings. It is about waking up and walking to the kitchen without that heavy band sitting across your middle. It is about bending down to lift your grandbaby out of her crib without your back announcing the effort. It is about the supper table on Sunday afternoons where you are still the one cooking, still the one telling the stories. The body you have right now at 60 or 70 or 80 can heal. It is never too late. The cells in your gut renew themselves every 3 to 5 days. The bacteria can be replanted. The metabolism can be steadied. A $2 drink in your own kitchen and a 15-minute walk after supper is the road back. Let me lock this in for you. The problem is the long evening after supper, when your blood sugar rises and lingers without the helpers your younger body used to provide. The drink is 2 tablespoons of raw apple cider vinegar with the mother, half a teaspoon of true Ceylon cinnamon, and the juice of half a fresh lemon stirred into a cup of warm water, sipped 20 to 30 minutes before bed. The mechanism is the same gentle pathway the expensive prescription pens are working through, slowing the stomach, steadying the insulin, quieting the appetite. The master pairing is a 15-minute walk after supper, which turns your leg muscles into glucose sponges. The foundation underneath all of it is a healthy gut, which over 60 needs prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics working together. If this video helped you, tap subscribe so I can keep showing up in your evenings. Send this to your sister or your husband or the oldest friend you still call on Sunday afternoons. They deserve their mornings back too. And in the comments below, tell me one thing. Which part of this protocol are you starting tonight? The drink, the walk, or both? I read every single comment on this channel, and your answers tell me what to record next. The BoochBod link I mentioned earlier is sitting in the description below whenever you are ready to take a look. Until next time, dear ones, walk gently, sleep deeply, and remember that the body that brought you this far still has plenty of road in it.